We are. We're tired of scrimmaging. We're tired of beating each other up. We're ready to go out and try to prove something, and it's probably the year that I'd hoped it would be. But you never know. But I think we got a really good chance of making Omaha.
Is it nice to finally kind of go ahead? But is it nice to finally get some national respect getting in the polls in the preseason, whereas before you have to work for that, kind of prove yourself along the way?
Yeah, how about that? Well, this school had never been ranked in the top 25 to start this season, and it's just continually growing. I mean, you look at the facilities behind us. My dream is to make this a national powerhouse on a regular basis, and fill the roster with New Mexico boys as best I can, and we about half our team's at that. So it's all coming together, and I'd like to make it faster, but it hadn't been faster. But it's happening. It's happening. It's a positive move in the right direction, and I'm very excited and proud of our state that this can happen. So things look good. Things look really, really good. We can pitch. We can really pitch. And we have a team full of guys that can really pitch. And last year was the start of that, and it's even better now. So they're offensively, we can match up with anybody in the country. But on the bumps where the difference is made, good pitching stops good hitting, and we've got to get that. Now the next thing we have to do as a program is build a facility so we can host a regional and host a Mountain West Conference tournament. We can't even do that. So we want to get this facility because home field advantage is a big deal through the NCAAs. UCLA last year we played them at their place, and sea level changes everything for us. And so you could tell that they were used to playing at sea level. They pitched up in the zone, we hit the dog out of it, and we flew out. So that changes things for you, how you feel about your ballpark. So hopefully we can get our facility right. We have the program now that we can compete, and if we can ever capture that regional berth and host a regional and a super regional, that makes your odds about 80% you're going to go.
But you mentioned you feel like you have quality pitching. You lost some experience, though.
Yeah, well, you know what? If them stinking Oakland A's wouldn't have taken Austin House.
It is what it is.
But losing Austin was a big deal. We would hope if he would have come back for his senior year, I'd probably be even talking more smack. But it is what it is. And so we have good enough arms to get it done. But a proven veteran on Friday night's what we lack right now. But I think that might happen as it goes. We'll find out next Friday night.
What do you think are your strengths and weaknesses of this team?
Our strengths, we got a lot of them. We're really good defensively. We're really good offensively, and our bullpen is unbelievably strong. So I think that the Friday night pitching is the one thing that I'm concerned about. That guy on Friday night that matches up with Arkansas's Friday night. That's what we're talking about now at the University of New Mexico. Finding a guy that match up on Friday nights with number one team in the country, Arkansas, who will play later in the year, and Texas. We can roll in and go, they're just as worried about our guy as we're worried about their guy.
Is it a question of finding a talented player or just finding a guy who can fit that role?
Well, pitchability is the key. This kid's got a good arm, and the best recruiting job I've done since I've been here is hire Dan Spencer. He's moved a lot of these guys forward, and if Sam Wolf can figure it out, which I think he is, I think he's getting there, and he's just a hair away, and that's a 98-mile-an-hour arm. That's an arm that nice and easy can locate with no effort and stay in the low to mid 90s and locate, and that's the difference. Josh Walker's pitching really well. We've got some junior college transfers, Consiglio and A.J. Carmen. They're throwing really well. Those guys are throwing really well. So the number of quality pitchers on this staff, night and day. But that number one guy, that guy that everybody in the country is worried about, that's what we want. The guy you call game over when he goes out in the first pitch.
What is it going to be like being in that new Mountain West, with the different teams and stuff like that?
Well, we lose TCU, one of the top 5 teams in the country in the last 5 years. But we get Fresno State and Nevada, who are comparable, the even-Steven team. So, I don't know. We'll see. But it's a good league, still solid league. We would like to add some more guys, but that depends on football and basketball, doesn't it? I'd like to say that Hobie McLean from Roswell has a really good shot at being one of the top closers in the United States, and may be called the Fireman of the Year in the NCAAs. That's how good he is. Yeah, he's done a really good job. No, velocity's not the key. The key is location and late movement, and he has both. He's probably mid-80s, but he's a submarine pitcher with late sink. You do hit it, it's a chop and ground ball to my favorite guy, Albritton, and we call that inning over.
Coach, DJ said the team should be ranked higher than 21. Do you feel that his sentiments?
You know what? Yeah, you know what? DJ came to me. He goes, Coach, there's going to be, as the years go on, 21's going to be a slap in the face. That's how strong he feels about this program. And I agree with him. I said, that's a great statement, 21's going to be a slap in the face. So we're not shooting for anything but to be the last man standing someday. That's what you shoot for. And we're going to get punched in the nose, but we've been punched in the nose before. A great point that people don't understand is like 2011, we took a lot of major butt kickings against some pretty good programs on the road. That's probably one of the greatest years in Lobo baseball history, because before that time, I noticed guys on my team looking over when we played Stanford and Arizona State, and they were kind of looking like they were going to go over and get an autograph. And so I said, all right, you guys want some of that? We're going to bathe in it for a whole year. But I thought I had a couple veterans back, and they got drafted, and we had a bunch of puppies. But they responded. TCU was the #1 team in the country, and by the end of the year, they stepped up and beat them. And we had Arizona State. And so now we feel like, they need to come get our autograph. And so DJ feels that way, and Mitchell feels that way, and we're as good as anybody in the country. And I think people across the country know that. Obviously, the ranking helps. That ranking wouldn't happen if the country didn't feel that way.
What about the non-conference part of your schedule? Just talk about how the tough teams and all that.
We'll still do that. We're still going to do that. Bob Davey asked me, he said, are you crazy? I said, well, yeah, ask around. But you know what? Let's find that out. Let's find that out early. I'm my way. And we always have a window at the end of the year. I personally think the RPI stuff's a joke. I think we ought to play anybody we want to without any sweat, see how you finish in conference, and then you go how you finish in the conference. I don't like that stuff. But anyway, it is what it is, and we're going to take our chances. But we're establishing an attitude about this program, and kids buy into it, and they become that, and that's how we do it.
What has DJ meant to this program?
Huge. He's brought that mentality. He's helped in recruiting. I mean, DJ Peterson's there. I can go there. And DJ he bleeds cherry and silver, baby. He's proud that he's a Lobo. He's an Arizona boy, and he could have gone to the U of A, but he feels like he wouldn't have hit as well if he had gone to the U of A. And he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, he's very positive. He bleeds the school, and he's a leader now, and extremely big talent, and possibly a #1 draft pick. Very likely. There are not many guys that ball jumps off their bat with less effort. I mean, Brian Cavazos Galvez got big power, but his is effort. He has some effort in his swing, but not DJ. Flick his hands, 400 feet, 450.
What do you think of the new ballpark as far as the new dimensions? How does that change things for you to make it?
This ballpark's not any bigger than Isotopes,
The
except in the left center field gap. The left center field gap is a little bit 10 feet deeper, but everywhere else it's the same, if not smaller. Corners are smaller. Center field's about the same, except if you go to Green Monster side to side, it's bigger at Isotopes than it is here. So it's pretty much Isotopes, and I think it's a beautiful ballpark, don't you? Yeah, and if we can add the rest to it, I mean, for this team to have their own place is a big deal. We've been gypsies. We've been gypsies as a locker room. We've been gypsies as a baseball field. We've had to bounce around and play off people's favor, We'll let you use it here. We'll let you do that, and we haven't had our home. And so more as people help, it continues to make this program a program.
Coach, does the turf change it at all?
The turf change?
Does it change the way you play the game?
No, not much. It's forgiving. They're not any bad hops. But we played at Isotopes. Those guys have always taken care of a great infield. because we play at Isotopes, we've always led the conference in fielding because they manicure a ballpark better than anybody in the country. And so now we're at this one too. The good thing about it, when we start playing at this ballpark, well, we won't have to be here 4 hours before the game and sit around the locker room because we don't have to manicure it and take care of it and all those things.
But you talk about like finishing this thing up and all that. What have you given yourself a timeline, or how's that going as far as getting more people getting on board and all that stuff?
Here?
Yeah. For this one.
Well, the construction and things will continue to evolve as people in the state of New Mexico help their New Mexico team. And this team's full of New Mexico kids, and the more people that chip in and help, the faster this happens, the more positive impact it has on the community. Not only a baseball field for Lobo baseball, but a baseball field for summer baseball, for high school baseball, for high school state tournament. It becomes a positive impact and becomes a prideful place where our kids can say, man, I got to play a Lobo baseball field, because I don't think they said that beforehand.
You talked about the changes, but what happens next? Is it lights? Is it the added grandstand? What
Well, there are added grandstands and skyboxes are happening. A lot of people have chipped in and helped. I mean, there's been a lot of guys go, I'll help you, and which is huge. And it needs to become, to me, it needs to become the way we think here in New Mexico, because our kids move out, they don't stay. And the more pride we take in our facilities, the more they walk around with their chest out, and the more they go, yeah, you know what, we get after it in New Mexico. I'm staying. I'm going to be part of this community. And we all know that.
Is it frustrating to know that you could probably finish in the top 5 this year and not be able to host a sub-regional or a super regional?
Well, it is what it is. Frustration has been part of this as the last 5 years because things aren't perfect. But I knew what it was when I took the job, and I knew the challenges when I took the job, so they're not that tough. It is what it is, but let's keep working towards being the best, you know. So, you know, you have your moments when you're tired, but realistically, you knew it, I knew it, everybody knew that this thing had a long ways to go. But we're getting there, and everybody's pushing the rock in the same direction. I think today's a positive statement, don't you? 5 years ago, you just said, yeah, New Mexico opened a season, preseason 21 in the country. Yeah, right. And he said, oh, they'd have a nice dugout? Yeah, whatever. And they have an infield that looks like a big-time infield? No way. But it's happening.
Coach Birmingham, yesterday, Coach Davey said that the recruiting battles that they're winning, the schools that they're beating, that level has come up. The recruiting battles where they're right there and they just are losing out, that level is up. And obviously the facility is going to be huge for your program, but do you already see that happening for Lobo baseball too, in terms of the battles you talked about, you know, with U of A and winning that battle with DJ, but is that happening for you?
Well, yeah, it is. Bob and I just talked about that this morning. I was over in his office talking about that very thing. And, you know, I think when this program has their own bathroom and showers and locker facility, it's huge. And I think when this program has lights, we're not very far away. It's not really going to take that much, but if people help, it happens. But yeah, once we have a facility, now we lost a pitcher yesterday in a commitment situation. It came down to U of A, the national champion, and New Mexico, and the kid thought about it for a month. 5 years ago, they wouldn't have thought about it for 2 seconds. You see what I'm saying? And so we got a pitching coach that we know and you know that can develop you into a top round draft pick. And we got a pretty good hitting coach, and we got a pretty good defensive coach. We got great coaches, and now we get the facilities that we need, and you can count on it happening. It'll happen. We'll host a regional. 80% of the teams that host a regional go to Omaha. That's how big home field advantage is. So there's the template. Give me some help.